Good everyone, welcome to this video. Today we have a review of the Pz.Bef.Wg.IV J. If you're German and watching this, and I butchered the pronunciation, I'm sorry. I'm not exactly German, but I tried. So the Panzer, I'm just going to call it the Command Panzer from this point on, so I don't butcher the name. The Command Panzer is a rank 3, battle rating 3.7 premium, available for around 1,750 golden eagles. A lot of people, from what I've seen, recommend this tank for a new player. I simply can't suggest that. The main reason is due to the turret. Now, I know what some people are going to say. Joe, it's a Panzer IV. They all have the same weak turret fronts, they all have the same gun, and they all have the same crew layout. And that's very true. The problem is the 4J designation. So the 4J was essentially an attempt to simplify production, as far as I remember off the top of my head. And as a result, if I take a look at the Italian Panzer IV, which I'm going to use for a comparison, we have a turret drive here of 13.2 degrees a second. Now that's on my current crew. My Italian crew is not as high as my German crew, however it does have maxed out targeting plus expert crew. So just take that into consideration. And then we look at the Befehlswagen. 5.6 degrees a second. This is nearly 3 times slower than the Italian Panzer IV. This makes a big difference when you're trying to react to threats. Now sure, the turning circle on this tank is actually quite good for a medium tank. It's not as fast as the T-34s or the Shermans, but you've still got a decent chance. And with the transmission being rather forgiving at lower speeds anyway, you should be able to turn this tank around quite quickly. The problem is the turret won't keep up, and this can make the difference between you living and dying in that specific circumstance. And as a result, it's just not ideal for a new player. Now you may notice this looks a little bit different to the one on the stat card. This is because you can get the Osketten track pack. You don't have to take this, but personally I would. The side skirts are structural steel anyway, they don't provide a lot, and I would just take the Osketten because not only, well, it doesn't make a difference in terms of weight, it just gives you that little bit of extra turning which can make up for the turret, but at the same time it just gives you a better fighting chance. So now let's go into the gun. This is the L48 KWK-40. If you've played your German tanks, you probably use the L43, which is very, very similar. It's just a little bit more pen. That's all you need to know. Reload rate is pretty good. Obviously, this is on a level 140 crew, so just take that into consideration. Same gun elevation and depression angles. Similar horsepower, similar top speed, and also similar reverse. So it's very familiar to anyone who plays a Panzer IV at the start of the game. But, yeah. Let's just say this tank does struggle, and that's why it's gone down to 3.7, same with the 4H. Now, the 4H does benefit from an electronic turret, so it's almost 3 times as fast. Well, not almost 3 times as fast. It's a little bit slower than the G that I showed you earlier. But remember, this is on a lower level crew without expert. To demonstrate that, I'm just going to quickly move both vehicles. And I'll put the 4H on my best crew. And then I'll put the premium Panzer IV onto the other crew. So as you can tell, 5.1 degrees a second. And if we go over to the Panzer IV-H, it is exactly the same as the 4G in the Italian tree. So, basing it off of that, you would assume that with the Osketten mod, this thing turns quite well, which it does. But as I said, the turret will not keep up, and it will make a huge difference in the long run. Now let's quickly cover the shells. I shouldn't really have to cover the shells, but you might see some heat rounds and smoke in my battle that I'm showing you. I main the Panzergranate 39. If you're not maining this, well, I can't say I'd be surprised because I've seen people firing Panzergranate 40 out of this thing. But, you know. So this is going to be a main round. It has 28.9 grams of explosive filler. It is a perfectly acceptable round. does struggle against the Russian tanks, specifically the T-34s, because it can't quite punch through the upper glacis. Sometimes it can, it depends on the angle really, but generally you're going to struggle against the upper glacis of a T-34. Russian tanks like the KV-2 and KV-1s, you can get through them. I tend to lower glacis them if I can, purely because that takes out the driver more consistently and it doesn't get caught by the driver's hatch. I'd also carry at least 5 rounds of heat, because unlike American tanks, you don't get high caliber machine gun on the roof. I will show you that in a moment. Panzergranate 40, again, don't use this round, you don't need it. HE is already beaten out by the heat round, so don't bother. And the smoke round, you don't get smoke grenades, and you also don't get any kind of engine smoker system, which none of the Panzer IVs do, but it's just a point of reference. So I would take at least 5 rounds of this just to be sure, because trust me, it's going to make a difference. So now let's cover the machine gun that I was on about. You do get a 34, an MG34 on the roof. It has limited ammunition and it doesn't have great elevation, so just be prepared to not be able to shoot at a plane that's pestering you. Speaking of planes, this tank does suffer from planes. As you can tell, it's 60mm on most of the turret top. There is some 25 for the commander, but, well, clearly that's just a sign of commander favoritism. But then you look at the top of the cupola and it's 8mm. The crew in the hull, unfortunately, only get 12, and if you're being attacked from above by a tank or like an IL-2, they're just going to shred your ammunition. And I'll be brutally honest, I carried a bit too much ammunition in this battle, as you're going to see in the actual match. But it didn't make a huge difference, and to be honest, if you're penetrated in your Panzer IV anyway, you're probably dead. So don't expect to survive more than one shell or two. But I'm going to hand you over to the gameplay now. Would I recommend buying this tank though? No, absolutely not. This is not a tank I can suggest to people. What I would suggest is picking up the Churchill or the KV-1C. This used to be called the KV-1C, it's now called the KW-1C. And these two tanks in general are just more forgiving for the average player than the Befehlswagen. The KV-2 is not advised, even though it's a fun and everyone knows the KV-2, the reload rate really lets it down. But anyway, I'm going to hand you over to the gameplay now. I hope you enjoy it. It's only me in this battle, and I will see you all on the next one. It's with the slowness. This thing is never this slow.
Allied forces have captured a zone.
Oh dear. Let's hope this match goes a little better than the last 20, it feels like. And no one's suspicious of that. Oh, there you go, that's a bit of just desserts, isn't it? A little bit higher now, I've had him. Great shot, KV-2. He didn't even have to try, mate. No offense. Got several here.
Attention to the designated grid square. Our victory is near.
They're capping C still. I don't have an angle. Let's try something a little bit daft, but we should be able to get away with it. Assist on the KV-2. they've got it over there. I'm going to try and get down this hill safely. Right, can I ford this? Let's find out. Yes, I can. I'm going to try and flank this guy up here. Come on. With the extra traction, I should be able to get up here. Yes. Yes, I can. Afternoon. Okay, he hasn't seen me yet. He hasn't seen me yet. He has now. Let's back up. That was worth the risk. I mean, we've crippled a T-34 to 2 crew. Oh, God almighty. Come on. You want a paycheck, Hans? There you go. Good lad. You wanted your paycheck. Okay. I'm not going to risk this again. For obvious reasons, but I might as well go and have a look. Oh, hang on.
Multiple strategic zones are captured.
Tried it again. Ah, perfect. There we go. Use the terrain to your advantage, people. It comes in much use. M10 over there. Nervous about my right, but I should be okay until this M10 pops up. Yep, I'm glad I did. There's a T-34 that I didn't spot. That's okay. It bounced off. Why do I get the feeling I'm about to get bombed? Let us try backing up here. Hey, up son. Thank you. I can't see shit that side. Like a capping steed. Too slow, son. So even with a hand crank turret, sometimes you can do stuff.
Thank you very much.
It went over that side. Ow, ow, ow. What the hell? Actually, that helps. Thank you, buddy. Don't know how we survived that, but you know. Gotta wait for a track. I think he just hit the track trying to go for the engine and he didn't get anything else. That was lucky. That was really lucky. I don't want to drop RD on the C point because of teammates. Okay, track's up. I heard a shot to the right. I'm not sure if that was a chappie, but it didn't sound like a chappie's gun. It's a T-34. I'm surprised he has a gun depression for that. Okay, I don't think he sees me. Let's go lower glacis if we can. There we go. goes him. I didn't see that until I reversed, but it's okay. Teammate dealt with it. The hell? What's that M13 that died? I thought it was something else.
We've captured most of the strategic zone.
Don't have a visual on that SPAA.
Keep the pressure on.
That's okay, we've gotten 8 kills. We've done quite well for ourselves. I think I might have angled. Yes, yes I do. I wasn't sure if he was behind the hill fully or not, but that's okay. Just gonna lock my gun to that position, and that is it. Not a bad run. Nope. That was lucky. That was a poor shot on my part, but I rushed that. Still, not bad, but yeah, this still isn't a great tank. I got quite lucky in a lot of situations, and realistically, I should have died quite a few times in this tank. But yeah, don't pick this up. Just get the German Churchill, and if at a push, maybe the KV-1C. Or the KW-1C as it's called now. This tank just ain't worth it.